Hello, good evening, Your Excellency, Dr. Ishaya Inodrukwa. Good evening, Dr. Naisha Davis. Good evening, Tory artist. So I don't know if we can get me properly, if you can hear me audibly. Um, or let me go
Yes,
one after the
good
other.
evening, sir.
I can hear you.
Oh, beautiful.
Can you hear
Hi,
me?
All
Joe. I can
right.
also hear you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for making our time to be with us tonight on this platform. My goodness, I'm super excited for several reasons. One, probably because it's my birthday and I have this opportunity to give back to the community in this capacity. Honestly, I'm super excited for that. Another reason is I'm super excited because I have you on this platform. You know, selection process was one careful one, and we couldn't find anyone fitting and anyone better than these particular selections that we've been able to make at this point in time to deliver to the nations, especially Nigerian youth. Um, I'm saying this to extend my gratitude to Tori Artist, who will be hearing from her shortly. And I also want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Naisha Davis. I'm sure I'll be introducing you shortly in a better way. And my goodness, I want to say a very big thank you to my daddy, my mentor, Dr. Ishaya Inuadrukwa. I I'm happy for all the people joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, because my goodness, this is one particular platform, opportunity to meet these great minds and to actually have them speak to us is one opportunity we've always been looking out for, and having it at this point in time, we're just so grateful for that. Yes. So forward going, I just want to do a bit of introduction um, of why we are here, and just a word about the platform for which we are using to preach this particular gospel that we are preaching, the gospel of leadership, the gospel of productivity. And um, sometimes earlier this year, that should be around February, I conducted a research, carried out a research in my state in Nigeria. Adamawa State is called. And why I did that was as a result of some certain level of dissatisfaction, resulting from what I could see the molding hands of the society has resulted many young people to. These young people, they are not necessarily illiterate, they are not ignorant, so to say, but seems to be there's a gap between the academic knowledge that they have gotten and the replication or the effect of such in their life, measuring from product social welfare. We're talking about um, financial capacity in that regard. And I just thought it's so important I get to find out why. And the in order to be productive as leaders influencing their communities. And another thing again, is how they can be able to ensure that good leaders are actually in power, who can who can distribute resources in such a way that it will help the community holistically. And we also found out that beyond just leadership, people are not necessarily lazy. Young people are not necessarily lazy, especially in Nigeria. I think it's a signature. We are well known for our resilience, our tenacity, and to a very large extent, competence, I would say. However, is not in every area. We are building and we are growing. We are not remaining where we are. We are good at what we do, right? However, there's always room for improvement. This is one of the reasons why we thought it wise, we thought it necessary to be able to uh, connect and give the young people opportunity to listen from industry leaders, people who have been in such spaces prior to this time and understand what it takes to lead in different spheres of influence. We've carefully looked at this and we found out that the list we have here are actually sufficient to be able to deliver on this particular mandate tonight. And this is why we began this particular journey sometimes yesterday physically in Adamawa state of Nigeria. And however, uh, we want to extend it to people far away, and not just people far away, but also people who are here receiving from people who are not necessarily in their space within this period of time. And we found you worthy and properly positioned to be able to deliver such. We've followed all of you carefully and we've seen the number of things you've been able to do, you've been able to achieve, and we want to learn from experience, especially from the experience of people who have gotten it right. And it is in this regard that we um, are here tonight. I want you to know that quite a number of people are following, and we are also connected live on Facebook, and we're also connected live on Instagram. And this is so important for us, hence the need to extend the gesture to as many that will be joining us tonight. And I guarantee you there are a whole lot of people currently online waiting to receive from us. So I'm not going to say much in that regard. 360-degree life coaching is the name we're known with. The last time we had a partnership um, deal with Dr. Naisha Davis. That was the name we're using. However, growth has happened and we had to transit from that particular name to Exlora Lead Global. Exlora Lead Global is a compound word for excellence aura. And what we seek to do is to build leaders who are strategic, who are innovative, and who are also committed to seeing transformation both in their lives individually, in organizations where they find themselves, and in the community at large, thereby affecting the entire um, scope of either country they found themselves in. Starting from their own community, we can affect the world at large. So thank you so much for listening so far. I wouldn't want to take further time discussing about this. We want to go direct and straight into the conversation for tonight. And to begin with us will be Dr. Naisha Davis. So, uh, just for a minute, I would want to say a word or two about Dr. Naisha Davis before she takes it further for us. She gets the ball rolling for us in this regard. So I met Dr. Naisha Davis online on Facebook, the power of social media and the digital space. That was during the Corona year when we had a program under this particular organization in 2020. It was a talent hunt, and we needed some opportunities for people who would distinguish themselves. And Dr. Naisha Davis stretched forward a helping hand for us. And I could remember we began with about 31 Africans enrolled into your publishing school, her publishing school, Zia Illuminate and Transcend Consult as at then. I think I can remember. Um, Eventually, though, the whole academic rigor happened, and quite a few were able to graduate. But those that graduated actually graduated well, right? And ever since then, the relationship has been thriving. Thank you so much for all that you do and your heart towards the young people, especially in Nigeria. We've had you on our platform several times, almost annually. So that Dr. Naisha Davis delivers a revolutionary and transformative message that offers truth and healing to those seeking truth. Her wisdom and words of life reminds listeners of their true identity. She has a keen insight into human spirit, which allows her to guide individuals in exploring their subconscious and hearts to uncover their truth, which facilitates true healing and restoration, allowing them to remember who truly they are. She is the founder of the Uniquely You partnering organization, Zia Publishing, and Hair Therapy. Through this, she reveals the hidden aspect of the souls of those she comes in contact with, helping them become a newer version of themselves. She assists individuals to transcend the boundaries in their lives and embrace a version of themselves they never thought possible. Dr. Naisha Davis guides those struggling with false reality, self doubt, skepticism, and pessimism towards discovering their spiritual identity and their purpose in life. Dr. Naisha Davis is dedicated to remembering who she is, so that she will be able to assist those other people who wants to do the same. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready for Dr. Naisha Davis, put it on the comment section. Make her feel welcome. I'm sure she's receiving it from wherever she is. Of course, she's in Florida, USA right now. Thank you so much, ma. From Nigeria, living in your future, we welcome you into the future. Thank you so much.
Hi, Joseph. Hi to everyone. I hope all is well. First, I would like to tell Joseph happy birthday. Happiest birthday of all.
Thank you so much. Truly
Make
appreciate you, mom. Thank you.
everybody, please make sure you put in the comments, giving him some love, some inspiring words for his birthday. Thank you for this space. Thank you for this stage that you have allowed me to come on. Yes, you are in my future, 7 hours ahead. And so I'm excited about just having this time and this moment and the expectation of everything that everyone will receive through this entire event. I'm excited because from around the world, I am honored to be here. I know my focus for this session was storytelling, literacy, and communication as tools for influence. It's very important that we all know that we are authors of our own stories, our own journeys. We were created with free will, we were created with power. We were created with authority. We were created in the image of God, the creator source. So we have a personal responsibility to make sure that we are and we are constantly becoming all that we were created to be. We're remembering the things that we talked about in the spirit realm before we came into this earthly realm. So through storytelling, literacy, communications, it can be very influential. But one thing I always encourage anyone to do, whether it is public speaking, whether it is writing a book, journaling, whatever the case may be, you must be your authentic self. Some of us are still finding and remembering who we are as we go throughout this journey and remembering what we are supposed to do and what we've been created to do. So it's our responsibility to take on the influence that we have been created to have in this earth realm. So through that, you can do this through storytelling. It can be everyday life as you're talking to your loved ones or your coworkers or your peers. You use your literacy and your communication to influence many, many people. Sometimes we think that we have to always have spoken words, but it's very important to understand the importance and the power of written words. Written words come through a filter of the stance and where you are in your life or what you're writing about. You have to focus on what you're writing about. Forget all of your fears, forget all of what you think people are going to say, and always know that you have a right to write. You have the authority to write. You have the ability to write. You have a ability to communicate, to influence those through your storytelling, literacy, and your communication. We have to know that you have to know, all of us have to know that when we use our writing, our speaking, and media, we are giving a message to someone, some way, somehow by your body language, through your speaking, and through your writing. You are influencing someone, but you have to remember that you are a leader. Everybody that walks on this earth can lead somebody into destruction, lead someone into healing, lead someone into restoration, lead someone into a place of gratitude. We can lead people into places knowingly and unknowingly. So we are responsible for making sure, however we use our communication skills, we are influencing those around us or those around the world to look towards the better parts of themselves, to influence someone to remember that they are a leader, to remember, that they are important, they are loved, to help them to remember that they're able to accomplish anything that they put their mind to, especially if it's going to benefit those around them in a most positive way. But remembering that storytelling, that literacy, that communication starts with yourself first. You have to be able to tell yourself a story about yourself that you want others to learn from you. You have to be able to read literacy that will take you to the space, a new place. Listen to literature that takes you to a new space, a new place, in order for you to grow as the person that you are, so that your message and your legacy and your leadership voice will constantly impact those around you in a positive way. It is important for you to have confidence. It's important for you to create or step into a new skill that you may be fearful of or you don't even know that you need to step into. It is important for you to use the creative tools that you have. All of us are creative in some way. One creativity from an individual does not have to look creatively to another individual. My creativity comes through administration. My creativity comes through being the one that I know that I walk people through healing. My creativity is the things that I love to do. And through that, I'm able to inspire and express myself as I help others, as I assist others. You have to get to a place where you lead with boldness. You have to be able to build influence responsibly. I'm saying these because these are the things that I was sent. The critical role for me to discuss during this time is that you understand that you have the ability to be confident in all areas of your life. You have the ability to learn new skills, to perfect new skills. You were created to be creative, not just a tool, but you are a creator of your life. As you look for the insight through your reading, through your writing, through communication with others, you're able to build your personal confidence. You're able to see where you're able to improve in different areas. Take corrective criticism and don't take it personally, but taking it through the filter of knowing that what's being said, no matter who's saying it, it can be taken and you can improve on that. You can improve in your storytelling. You can improve in your communication. You can improve in literacy. Whenever I speak about literacy, that is across the board, whether at home, in your university, on your job, as you build your career, it is important for you to understand the boldness that you must walk in. It is important that you take what you have decided that you want to do very seriously. Take it serious enough that you write it down. You write the vision, you make it plain. Be sure to structure yourself in the things that you do. Whenever I say structure yourself, I'm not saying it has to be in stone. You have to have a plan. You have to have an outline. You have to write down everything that you need to keep yourself on some type of track moving forward. Everything you write down, you may not accomplish it at one time, but as you go along, you'll be able to mark those things off of your list. That's keeping you structured. Even in your writing, if you are a writer who desires to become a self-publishing author, I just released a book. It's called The Steps to Releasing Your Voice. Through this process, you still have to mark off. Through this process, you still have to write. As you prepare to write your book, you have to take time out to influence yourself first, be confident for yourself first, and being influential for yourself first. You have to be able to constantly engage into the things that you have written about. Constantly go back and reevaluate yourself when it comes to your communication skills, your communication styles. If you continue to come into the same, as we can say, trial or tribulation, or if you come into a place where you find yourself meeting the same problem over and over again in your communication, it's time for you to step back, sit with inside of yourself, and look at every situation that this communication error keeps coming up. Or if you're trying to communicate information and the person that's sitting there, they're not able to receive it. This is the time whenever it's time for you to sit and evaluate every communication, every person you've communicated with, and this incident keeps happening. Once you do that, then you're able to go with inside of yourself, do research on how you communicate more effectively. This can be verbal communication, physical body language communication, or even your written communication. As we know, sometimes we are in a new world where technology is used to connect everyone across the world. But have you ever had a chance to text someone and what you text, they did not receive it as you texted? In those instances, it may be small, but in those instances, we are learning how to communicate transparently. You're communicating with the storytelling of what you want somebody to understand or have clarity about what you're communicating. So it's very important that you remain structured. It's important that you also pay attention to your timing of when you put things on paper and when you come back to them. This way, you're able to see whether you are procrastinating or you're waiting for your spirit man to open up to connect with your soul, that you'll be able to articulate the words that you have with inside of yourself to others. Timing, make sure that you are listing the things that you need to do. Do not allow your fear to cause procrastination when it's time for you to write, communicate, or storytell in any way. When it comes to you being able to communicate, you can't go back and forth with inside of yourself. If you're indecisive about something, just write it down. It makes it more clear. You're able to communicate to yourself what you're trying to express outwardly. So it's very important to do so. This comes about with engagement as well. Your engagement with yourself is more important than your engagement externally. If you're constantly looking how to communicate, storytell, and write through literature to someone else before you let it resonate with inside of yourself, it's putting yourself in a cycle of disappointment, self-disappointment, because you may be too busy doing it externally and not paying attention to what you're doing internally. Writing, communicating is all about how you perceive life within inside of yourself. Whether you're writing a book, whether you're doing a self help class, whether you're doing anything for your career, whatever it may be, you have to know that you have to be settled within, engage with yourself within, and allow yourself to flow. The only way that you'll be able to flow is if you're constantly in communication with yourself. If you're constantly writing down and letting yourself and reminding yourself of the things that you need to do for you when it comes to the storytelling, literacy, and communication. You have to influence yourself first. If you're not influencing yourself, you're not going to be able to influence people externally at your highest capacity. So you must have boldness for yourself. You must have confidence for yourself. You must take on your responsibility as an influencer. Sometimes in this fast-paced world, we're looking for the quick likes. We're looking for the high numbers. We're looking for everything that will validate who we are from someone externally, a like, a heart, comments, different things like that. But our reality is you must influence yourself to continue to move forward in your communication and your writing and everything that you have going on in your life in order for you to be able to communicate externally and influence those that you were created to influence in this realm. There's many things that you can begin to do to bring yourself to a place of self-awareness about where you are in your journey as you continue to move forward in your career, most important in your life, self-care, self-love. So the things that are important is that you take time out to sit and meditate about you. Again, take time to meditate about you. What is your style of storytelling? What do people say whenever you tell a story or whenever you're telling them about an event in your life? Some people have a way to tell stories where you will watch the movie play out in your mind. Others, they may not have that skill or that talent or their gift, but you have the ability to sit and listen whenever you're speaking. What is the feedback that you're receiving for others? Did you express yourself the way you thought you expressed yourself, or did you leave out some information? The literacy of it all. Be confident in your writing. It doesn't matter like what you think about your writing skills compared to somebody else. Be confident in your writing because the more you write, the more you're able to learn more about yourself. The literacy of it all. When you read, make sure you read what is focused on what about you. Don't just pick up a book just because someone else tells you that it's a good book. See if it will empower you in the spaces and in the places and in your spiritual and mental stability in order for you to move forward. It's important that we all take time out to empower ourselves and communicate to ourselves. I keep going back to this because sometimes, many times people want to have the external influence, but you must communicate with you to influence yourself in order to be a creative storyteller and in order to write literacy and to communicate with those around you and that's within your life. One thing I want to leave with you today is empower yourself first, encourage yourself first, communicate with yourself first, and continue to build the confidence skills that you need internally, that your skills will be magnified and multiplied, and that your creative tools will continue to express themselves in ways that you never would have imagined. Joseph, thank you for this time on your platform.
Believe that we have. All right, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing wonderfully with us tonight. Since the time I met you, you've always been on this message of believing in ourselves and releasing the greatness on the inside, believing that we have a story to tell, and of course, we always do. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. We truly appreciate um, this love, this gesture of yours towards us. Thank you very, very much. We are super excited. And yes, that's what we seek to do. Exactly why we are on this at this point in time So we're trying to save up a bit of time, and we also want to suggest, if you are able to turn on your video from where you are, and it will not be a problem to you. Um, as you speak, you can do so, because we are live, and it's going to be a good interface if they can see pictures from wherever they are listening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so we are not going to take time. We're just going to, my goodness, already in the room. Thank you so much. So forward going, I would not really be saying so much, so we could save up a bit of time. Dr. Jim is already in the house, and my goodness, he is. I went through your biography, sir. We have it shared across the entire media, from Instagram, Facebook, all of the media platforms already have your bio here. And all I could say is, wow, it's one of the sounds of exclamation here in Nigeria. If you've not visited, probably you won't be conversant with that. But honestly, we are super excited and most privileged to have you here with us, sharing from your wealth of wisdom that you've gathered over the years. And I would want you to know that the young people in Nigeria, in Africa, and across the entire world are eagerly waiting to hear from you and to drink from the wealth of wisdom that you bring to the table tonight. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. We are super excited and up forward. We are sitting back, getting all of our notepads and pens ready to take some certain notes, so that we could take them as action plans after your session. So after now, thank you so much, everyone, for staying through till this time. The next voice you'll be hearing is that of Dr. G. Thank you so much for gracing us, sir. You're welcome.
It's really a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry that Dr. Davis left. She's came to you from Florida, and I'm just up the road from her. Actually, I'm very far up the road from her, but I'm in a place called, I'm in Ohio, which is kind of the middle of the United States. And it's wonderful to be here. I wish that I could see you all. I wish that we could have this chat in person. I chat in person quite a lot through my friend Mwiwa Fasakin, who teaches creative confidence. And we have a great time in talking with the young people that attend his class. But I'm really honored to be here. Wish I could have been here yesterday for your in-person gig, because that looked great. I've seen pictures from it. So a little bit about me. I am a professor at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, a very small school. Not very small, but here in the middle of the country. And I teach creativity inside the business school, which makes people wonder, can you teach creativity? And I have convinced Miami University that it's possible, so they pay me. But I've learned a few things in doing this. Number one, and kind of the most important thing, is that creativity was invented in September of 1950. Actually, that's not true, but I like to say it anyway. What happened in September of 1950 was that there was this guy named J.P. Guilford who stood in front of a bunch of researchers, and he said, you know what? Creativity has never really been researched. We don't know how it works. Maybe we should do it. And that was 75 years ago this year. 75 years ago, just a couple months ago, And all of these guys said, yeah, let's research it. Let's figure out why it works. So creativity is actually science. Creativity actually has scientific foundations, which I think is fascinating, that it really works for a very specific reason. Now, let's talk about what creativity is. Creativity is often thought of as art making. I can paint, I can draw, I can dance, I can sing. And everybody says, oh, you're so creative. But the creativity that I teach and the creativity that I want to talk about is totally about thinking, the ability to think creatively. I like to call it second right answer creativity. And here's why. For the most part, we exist in habit. For the most part, we do everything the same way. We drive to work the same way. We wake up and go through our morning process the same way. We do what we do. But one of the things that we know as entrepreneurs, as leaders, is if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. Meaning, if you want to be new, if you want to improve, you got to find a different way to do things. And that's really, really important. So let me share one of the things that they researched and how they found out one of the most important things about creativity. And this happened in the 1960s. And in the 1960s, this guy named George Land needed to hire really creative people who could think differently. And so he gave everybody who applied for a job, he gave them a test of creativity. It's called the TTCT, the Torrance Test of Creative Thinking. Very famous, very popular creative test. And what happened was, and he gave this to all the PhDs who were coming to work at NASA, all the people that he was depending on to build the rocket ships to get to the moon and back. So he gave them a test of creativity. Very cool. But he also gave the exact same test to 1,600 5-year-olds. Let me say this again. He gave the same test to the PhD professionals, scientists, and he gave the same test to 1,600 5-year-olds. And the interesting thing about this was that the 5-year-olds scored at 98% creative genius. Well, this shocked him. 5-year-olds are scoring almost perfect on this test. Amazing. And so what he did was he followed them for 5 years and gave those 1,600 children, they're now 10 years old, gave them the exact same test. And on that time, where they had scored 98% creative genius, this time they scored 30%. They had lost all of that creativity in just 5 years. So he did it again when they were 15. And that time they scored 12% creative genius. They had lost almost all of their creativity in just 10 years. To this day, and they're still giving the TTCT, they're still giving the Torrance Test of Creative Thinking. Adults, all these PhDs did back then, most adults do now, score at about a 2% creative genius level. So we are born creative. Creativity is not inherited. Creativity is not learned. Creativity is unlearned. We are born creative and we lose it all. And the reason we do, you know as well as I, our teachers say, sit down, put your hand down, stop talking. That's not yours. Don't touch that. Don't go there. No, we're not talking about that now. And what they do is they kill our creative curiosity. They kill our desire to play. They kill our crazy, wacky ideas. That's where our creativity goes. And so you, as the future leaders, as young idea people, you now need to figure out how to get back what you owned at 5 years old. You have to play more. You have to be curious more. And you have to silence that internal voice of judgment, that thing that says, oh, I better not raise my hand. I better not ask a question. I better not challenge that. I better not say that. I better not think that. Your voice of judgment is what kills your creativity. So how can you get that back? One of the things that I see way too much is that we are afraid to make mistakes. We are afraid to make mistakes because we get punished for it or we're embarrassed by it. That's a problem. That's an absolute problem. And so the thing that we need to, the thing that we need to figure out, the absolute thing that we need to figure out is how we can take more risks so that we can make more mistakes. Making mistakes is good. I know you don't like making mistakes, but making mistakes is good. Here's how I know that, is that everything you do, everything you have ever done, anything that you are great at doing, you are great at doing because you've made mistakes. Right? Think about it. The first time a 3-year-old kicks a soccer ball, it goes in the wrong direction and only a few inches. And the first thing the 3-year-old says is, I want to do it again. If as an adult we kick a soccer ball and it goes the wrong direction, we go, oh, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not very good at this. But when we do anything as kids, when we learn to play the piano, when we learn to play any musical instruments, when we learn to play any sports, we weren't good at it. But when we do something as adults, we expect to be great at it. And we're embarrassed when we're not. And when we're not great at it, we tell people, oh, I can't do that. You need to get rid of that if you're going to be a great leader. You're going to have to get rid of that if you are going to be a creative human being. It's really, really important that we accept that as the natural way to learn and grow. Making mistakes and learning from them. We need to change our mindset. Our mindset is the thing that that gets in our way because we're embarrassed if we make a mistake, if we're not great immediately. So if every time you make a mistake, you smile, and when somebody says you really messed that up, you go, yeah, isn't it great? Because look at all the things I've learned. Making mistakes is how every creative genius has ever gotten good. So I'm looking at some of the comments, and I appreciate them. If you have questions, hey, send them to me, and I will share thoughts. Yes, how can we take more risk? How can we make mistakes? I have a PhD in messing up. I have a PhD in making mistakes. I have advanced degrees in failure. There's actually a guy here in the United States who teaches a class in failing. One of the things that I do, and my students hate this, I know this, but they understand it after a while, is I make sure that they fail. I make sure. Now, here's the important part. We don't ever want to fail at the end. We want to fail at the beginning and in the middle. We want to make mistakes so that we can learn and grow and get better. Because if we continually make mistakes, then our products become better. Think of it in terms of what Dr. Davis was talking about in writing and in storytelling. Our early works are never good. That's why we rewrite them. That's why we do multiple drafts. That's why we continually get better every single time we try. That's the important part. That's the thing that we need to remember, is that everything is an iteration, right? I come from television. My past, my history was in making television and movies. And I did that for many years. You should have seen some of the things that I did in my early years. They were very, very bad. And to some extent, yes, when I watch them now, I go, oh my goodness, I'm so much better than that now. That was pretty terrible. But I learned as I continued on. And so what I want to suggest to you is that you understand a few things about creativity. And I'm going to share these with you real quick. And then I'm going to give you my final profound statement. Number one, be curious. Really work to find your curiosity. Ask people lots of questions. Questioning is a key to creativity. The more questions you can ask. When we were kids, we asked 40,000 questions between the time we were 3 and the time we were 6. 40,000 questions. That's more than 65 questions a day. Now, we barely ask 8 questions a day. Get back to asking questions. Ask dumb questions. Ask silly questions. Ask inappropriate questions. Ask as many questions as you can. That's one. Number 2, silence that voice of judgment I was telling you about. When you silence that voice of judgment, you will then be able to ask more questions. It will open you up to not feel uncomfortable asking questions. The more questions you can ask to the more people you can ask, the more you learn and the more you grow. When you ask more questions, when you silence your voice of judgment, number 3, you take more risks. That's the whole thing, is when you silence that voice of judgment, you're willing to risk. And then number 4, be comfortable failing. The more times you make mistakes, the more you learn. The stronger you get, the smarter you get. The most important thing, and this is where I'm going to end, the most important thing that you can create is your life. That is the most important thing that you are ever going to create. It's not a book. It's not a movie. It's not a sculpture. It's not a dance. The most important thing that you will create is your life. Make it a great one. Make it full of interesting conversations. Make it full of interesting adventures. Make it full of wonderful stories and wonderful failures. Every time you have an idea, go after it a little bit. Change something, do something. Do it differently. Even if all you do is do the opposite. You know, when I go to work, I always go here and I turn left. This time I'm going to turn right. That's a creative act. When you look at the world differently, when you look at the world with abundance of possibilities, your creative life becomes much richer. And I wish that for you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for having me. I very much appreciate your time. I love to I love to be here with you, and y'all have a wonderful time here. Joseph, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, sir. We are most delighted. Thank you so
Take
much
care.
for taking out time to be with us. And my goodness, I just got a new perspective towards failure. I was laughing back here when you said you had a PhD in failing, and I was like, wow, what a kind of description. And it's true. I attest to one of your statements where you say many of us are really scared of failing, so we don't even try at all. I'm quite challenged, and I've learned that if you don't try it, if you do not really embrace the outcome of failure, sometimes you are most likely to be stagnated. And I wouldn't want to be stagnated. So I've made up my mind to try again and to keep trying until I get it right. Thank you so much for your time, sir. We are super, super excited. I truly want to commend one of my Coach Muiwa Fashakin. I think he just joined us not quite long ago. I got to access you through him. Thank you so much, Coach Muiwa, for giving us access to such a great wisdom. And I'm sure I'm echoing the voice of many other young people who are connected via our media platforms. Thank you, Dr. Jim. We're super, super excited to have you here tonight. All right. Yes. We are moving further already. I'm sure we're having a great time. We are learning so much already. And shortly now, we will be listening from one of our finest spoken word artists here in Nigeria. While I was in college, like you Americans would say, in Nigeria, we call it university. I came in contact with this great personality. We started doing some outreaches together. Then I could remember going to secondary schools and hosting events in school that were transforming the lives of young people just like ourselves as at then. And today, the voice has gone beyond just the four walls of university. And I've watched her speak on platforms and render her voice to this generation. And we have the honor of having her on this platform tonight. She is going to be speaking leadership, creativity. She's going to be speaking productivity in another genre. And this is going to be in spoken word. And join me, make welcome. We call her Precious Okechukwu, but that's a name that Nigerians only can call. So don't try this at home if you are not a Nigerian. And we call her Oma, that's her stage name. She's going to say a bit of something before we get our play, before we play what she prepared for us. Thank you so much, Oma, for being with us.
Thank you very much, MG. It's so amazing. Before I got on the call today, I just said to myself, MG has been doing this thing for a very long time. You've been doing this right from school. And it's so beautiful to see that even up to now, there has been so much growth, so much expansion. And this is not something that was the most popular endeavor for young people to do. It was not, I mean, it's not like everything that you see every day, and then to hold on to that, to consistently improve upon yourself. I have literally watched you grow in leaps and bounds, and I must say that this is really, really inspiring. And I also want to thank everyone who is here on the call, and I have learned a lot just following, just listening to the conversations had, and it's just really profound. So I will be performing spoken word poetry, but my session is already pre-recorded, and I opted for this because of internet connection, because of network. I don't want to have any glitches. I am Precious Omam. I'm a spoken word artist. I'm a creative. I like to say that the summation of the things I do are in three phases: speaking, writing, and creating. So, professionally, I'm a teacher, I teach public speaking. I also teach students in the university, and I'm really passionate about education. And I'm a spoken word artist too. And I'm also a podcaster. I have a podcast, the Rest Podcast. It's on all streaming platforms. And I'm just literally dedicated to teaching, to comforting, to counseling, and to creating. Creativity is really close to my heart. And I know that as touching leadership and as touching productivity, there are many ways in which creativity comes into play. And most of the changes we're seeing in our society today have been creatively led. The creative space right now is such a buzzing space, and I'm so glad to contribute to that, and I'm so glad to be here. So I'm just going to let you listen to my piece. I just popped in here so that you can see me and to say hi, and thank you very much, Joshua.
Much later. For a man's life is built from his most frequent and most believed thought patterns. It's Gang's boomerang. You shout, the sound travels outward, hits a solid wall or a mountain, and bounces back to your ears. The same sound, just a little bit delayed. And life does the same. It reproduces whatever you feed your mind. Sometimes immediately, other times much later. For a man's life is built from his most frequent and most believed thought patterns. It's garbage in, garbage out, treasures in, treasures out. So be careful what you say to yourself, because you are listening. Your mind replays whatever you feed it. Like a boomerang, it will always come back to you. So I'd like to ask you, what have you believed? That discipline is too hard, that your life is inconsequential, that there are some mountains too mighty for you to level, rooms too big for you to occupy. Who have you been listening to? The voice of your childhood bullies, the experiences that convinced you that impossibility is your natural habitat, so stay low. Tells you not to reach too high, not to dream too big. But you see, leaders, the ones who make a difference, the ones who defy the norm, are people who think differently. They learn to re-engineer their minds to see possibility. They choose to become light that pierces through thick darkness. They fill their minds with pictures of what can be so that their lives can echo productivity. Are you a leader? Fruit bearing looks different in every season, but the tree must bear fruit in its time. Sometimes hundreds, other times 50s, other times thousands, sometimes tens, but fruit must come. And you see, a well-nurtured tree produces plenty, and fruit is simply the boomerang of the farmer's faithful labor. You reap what you sow. So don't fall for the cheap trick of laziness. Don't trust the comfort it promises. Don't buy the counterfeit ease it sells you. A little sleep, it says. Just snooze the alarm again. Life is not that hard. But this is how lack becomes your roommate. How shame joins your household. How regret finds a bed to sleep in, because you reap what you sow. We are products of our most dominant thoughts. You reap what you sow. So today on this live, I challenge you to listen to your thoughts. Listen to the conversations you are having with yourself. When you hit a hard wall, pay attention to how you speak to yourself. For your internal conversations reveal what you've been consuming over time. And if you don't like what life is serving you, change your choice on the menu. Life doesn't just give you what you deserve, it gives you what you contend for, what you prepare for, what you feed it, what you sow into it. So if we want to hear echoes of productivity and leadership, we must make room for them. We must feed them, speak them, nurture them, practice them, believe them, because an echo is a sound boomerang, and your life will always return whatever your mind keeps throwing out. Thank you. An echo is like a sound.
In school. Thank you so much. We're super excited to have you speak those words, that drops in our heart like a tongue of fire. Thank you so much. We're super excited to have you once again. Whoa, we are making progress. Yes, we are. So we started talking about being unique, understanding that you have something on the inside of you. And Dr. Jean, the initial was actually said by our very own Dr. Naisha Davis, and we went further to hear from Dr. Jean, who spoke so much about the need for you to embrace failure, not to keep it as your friend and partner perpetually, but you should be able to learn from failure, and you should not be afraid to take certain steps that sometimes leads to certain failure, temporary failures, like I would always say. If you consistently fail, you must check the foundations. It could be a wisdom problem, right? And now we've heard so much, dissecting the conversation and the topic from today from our electrifying um, spoken word artist, Precious Oma. Thank you so much for being here. And now we take it further to our third and last speaker for tonight. Don't forget, we still have one of our very, very favorite spoken word artists. So we have them too in this platform today. And they are going to be building on each other's wisdom and creativity in terms of spoken words. So we are now going to be listening to one man I respect so much because he has invested so much in my life and in terms of my growth and development. I met him back then in 2019, and ever since then I've been watching and I've been learning both from proximity and even in distance. And he has challenged me so greatly to be able to become a better version of myself. And the journey has not ended. In fact, the journey has just begun. And we are making tremendous progress in this regard. He is one man that fears God so much. I like to begin from there. And he is also one man that believes in the new Nigeria. He believes so much in effective and efficient leadership, right? And that he has been able to demonstrate, by the way he leads PSG. It's an international NGO. He is the executive director of the International Organization for Peace Building and Social Justice. It's called PSG. He is also one man that understands the dynamics of sports, and he uses sport tools to bring about positive changes in communities across Africa. He is one great politician as well, and soon enough, in Adamawa State, we are going to have him as the governor. I can't wait for that because I can only imagine the level at which the state will be influenced with so much good leadership, and I'm so happy. He is my dad. I was speaking with someone. I said there comes a time in a man's life where he gets to choose who his dad is beyond just biological order, and I've chosen mine. Yes, he is my dad. So thank you so much, everyone, for staying till this end. You are about to hear from Dr. Ishaya Inua Drukwa, one of your favorite speakers and a leader par excellence. So we are super excited to have you on this platform tonight, and we can't wait to learn from your wisdom. Thank you so much. You have the stage.
Thank you so much, MJ. Thank you for having me here. And greetings, everyone. Definitely, this is a space that I'm not very familiar with. Creative thinking, creative doings, spoken word and storytelling. But I am so inspired listening to having listened to Dr. Davis and Dr. Jim and spoken word from Precious Omar. I think I will have to make the decision to come into this space to learn because it's not my area. All I do is that I'm a passionate believer for a new Nigeria, but I believe strongly that the end of creative thinking and storytelling and spoken word and all of the things that I have had here is to bring about positive change in our society, actually starting from us, bringing about transformation in us, in our lives, and also in our communities and then in our societies. So the end of all of this, I believe, is to see a visible, palpable transformation in our spheres of influence. And so thank you so much for all of the things that you have shared. And I will connect with my friend Muyua Fashakin so that I can learn a bit of all of this. I've been trying to share. Yeah, so he's here. MJ, let me say happy birthday again to join Dr. Davis to say happy birthday to you. Today is a special day. Sorry that I'm not in Adama to have celebrated you physically, but happy birthday to you. I'm talking about reforming society through peace, justice, and active citizenship. I won't take your time. I'm going to go through the slides as quickly as possible, but by way of setting the context, I will say that Nigeria is at a defining crossroad. Whatever is happening to the text, ignore it. But we are at a crossroad right now in our nation for many reasons. If you've been following how things are emerging in our nation, you all will agree with me that we are at a very defining crossroads. And what we do in this season is very important in resetting the trajectory of what this nation would look like in another 5 years, in another 10 years. Think about all of the different kinds of happenings in Nigeria. In the Northwest, we have the bandits and terrorists in the Middle Belt. We have the kidnappers. In the Northeast, we have ISWAP and Boko Haram. In the South, we have Niger Delta militants. In Southwest, we have movement for the emancipation or whatever it is of Oduduwa Republic. And in the Southeast, we have the, these Biafra agitators. And the economy is not doing well. And there is a lot of falsehood. There is a lot of intentional denial of the obvious, like of recent Nigeria is proscribed as a country of particular concern by the President of the United States of America. And of course, Nigeria or Nigerian government is trying to deny the claim of genocide with all of the obvious facts. It's been said that we believe in God, but we also believe in data because data does not lie. And I'm wondering how our leaders are able to deny the reality of the kind of data that we have in our nation to speak about the fact that there is genocide going on in Nigeria, you know. So that is where we are. That is where we are, as a people. But apart from the fact that we are at a defining crossroad, is also the fact that Nigeria is a blessed nation, but the institutions are weakened. We have weakened institutions. It's a nation of great potential, and the potentials cut across different spheres We can think of natural resource as a potential. We can think of human resource. We can even think of personal resource. All of these abound. Nigeria prides herself as one of the most resourceful nations in the world, especially when we think of human resource, which is the highest form of resources, But hey, we are weakened by weakened institutions. We don't have functional institutions in Nigeria. And of course, the other reason why we must understand the context is the fact that young people are the largest demographic and most powerful force for transformation. And we are not in short supply of them. 70% of Nigerians are young people under the age of 35. Out of the about 240 million Nigerians, 70 to 75% of them are under the age of 35. It then means that we have young people as the largest demography and the most powerful tool or force for transformation. And the next thing is that we must realize that every generation gets a chance to rewrite its national story, and this is ours. By this, I'm saying that you listening to me right now, right here, we must come to terms with the fact that every generation gets a chance to rewrite its national story, and this is ours. We have a chance. We have a chance to rewrite our national story, but it depends on what you and I would do. Now, we can talk about the sub-theme that I have on mind, talking about active citizenship. How can we bring about transformation? We must understand active citizenship and participation. We must understand advocacy and accountability, but we must also understand how to dialogue in a non-violent way and to show integrity in all our doings. Now, these things are important. Now, youth as architects of peace. Someone said, peace is not everything, but without peace, everything is nothing. We must understand that peace is equal to justice, fairness, and dignity. Whenever we talk about peace, we must come to terms with the fact that we are talking about justice, fairness, and equity. And youth are often the first responders during crisis. Why? Because youths are the ones who are used to perpetrate evil. Wherever you see uprising, wherever you see banditry and kidnapping and all of the different forms of terrorism, when you check the kind of people who are perpetuating this, you will see that youths are the ones who are doing this. And I'm not talking only from research standpoint, I'm talking from experiential standpoint as well, because I've been at gunpoint severally, and the people who were holding guns to my head were young people, some of them probably not up to 30. Youths are the ones who are used to perpetuate the kind of crisis that we need. Even when you think of political thuggery or rigging elections and all of the madness going on that is keeping this nation stagnant, it's youths that are being used, they are being manipulated to do this. The elites cannot succeed without the youths behind them. And they have weaponized poverty against the youth because it's a culture of poverty and unemployment. And therefore, youths are hungry and they know how to manipulate them, whether using religion as a tool or ethnicity as a tool or whatever they want to deploy. But youths are usually the first responders during crisis. Now, young people are not just beneficiaries of peace, but they are builders of peace. And in my work for nearly 20 years, 2 decades of advocacy and advocating for peace building and social justice, I can tell you firsthand that most of the successes we have recorded is because youths are part of the process. Now, we can think of tools for youth empowerment. How can youths participate? For youth to actively participate as active citizens, we must understand or come to terms with the fact that leadership training and mentorship cannot be downplayed. We must work assiduously to acquire leadership trainings, and we must submit to mentorship. And we must understand the know-how of interacting in interfaith and interethnic cooperation, because Nigeria is a pluralistic society with diverse faith and diverse ethnic groups, and both of them suspect each other. And therefore, for us to promote peace, we must understand how to deploy a tool that would make interfaith and interethnic cooperation. And then digital activism and community organizing is also very important. But the next thing is how do we understand active citizenship for a new Nigeria? Number one is that we must be informed participants or participation in governance. There has to be informed participation in governance. Do we understand politics? Do we understand governance? Do we know how to discuss power and negotiate for power and things like that? And we must understand rejecting vote buying and political manipulation. Right now, we are gearing towards the next election. How can we mobilize young people to reject vote buying? How can we mobilize young people, not to be manipulated politically, to be used as tools to perpetuate the old order that has made Nigeria stagnant? How can we speak up for things that are right? How can we participate in community issues? These are things we've got to do, and young people must take the lead, because we have the number, we have the technical know-how, we have the understanding of the times, and I can go on and on that. Now, advocacy and accountability is very important. Advocacy in policy writing, engaging elected officials, community mobilization, digital civic education, all of these are very important. And also accountability begins with self. Young people must understand that integrity, honesty, respect for public property, and keeping commitments are non-negotiable tools and virtues that we must use. So if we want to see transformation in our nation, and look, if young people will not take the lead and be the vanguard for this transformation, it's not going to happen, because this older generation, they are bereft of ideas, they have hijacked the system, and they are perpetuating themselves at the expense of the system, not worrying. They don't care what becomes of you. They are only thinking of themselves and their cronies and their children, and that is all that matters to them. They keep borrowing and plunging generations unborn into becoming people in debt. We need to stand against this, and these things we must do in a non-violent and dialogue leadership tools. We must understand how to do this, and there are many examples of non-violent approach to peace building, to solving societal problems, because we cannot go destroying what we are short of. And so anarchy will not help us, but how can we do this in a way that is non-violent? And we need to go and study the examples of the civil rights movement in the United States of America to learn the principles of nonviolent approach to advocating for rights. Now, there has to be a new kind of Nigerian leader as we gear towards the next election, and we are talking about transformation of this nation. We must think of a new kind of leader. Albert Einstein says, it is insanity to keep doing things in the same way and expect a different result. We can't continue to vote based on what we gain, talking about vote buying or rigging elections and selecting people who are clueless, selecting people who are corrupt, and expect that this nation is going to be transformed It's not going to happen. So Nigeria need young leaders who are peace ambassadors, who are justice advocates, ethical influencers, community mobilizers, voices of truth and unity. These are the kind of people we need. And if young people rises with integrity, Nigeria rises with them. I assure you that. But we must talk to ourselves and we must do the needful. Now, I end by saying that, or by reading this quote that I have. And the quote reads that they found Nigeria broken, but they did not walk away. They rebuilt it. So I challenge you with this quote. Will you be one of those? Yes, Nigeria is broken. You didn't break it. You found it so. You just find yourself. Some of us have never seen a functional system. We don't know what a working system looks like because when we were born, Nigeria was already broken. Anybody who is born from the late 80s has never seen a Nigeria that is working. So it's a broken nation in many ways. But let it be said that you found Nigeria broken, but you did not walk away. You rebuilt it. Trust me, there is hope for this nation. And that is where I'm inviting you to say that I want to commit to national transformation. And we'll continue this conversation. We won't end it here. This is just to stimulate our minds to begin to think about the endless possibilities, the possibilities that abound towards the transformation of this nation. Thank you very much for listening. Hey, MJ, thank you for the privilege of bringing me here. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir, for this honor. I know how busy your schedule can be, yet you made our time so you could speak to us. We are super excited and we are grateful for all the sacrifice, for all the efforts you put to see that a new Nigeria emerge. And we are fully in support of that. And one of the ways we try to do that is by learning and becoming a better versions of ourselves also, so that we can be that particular change that we would want to see happening in Nigeria. Thank you so much for always encouraging, for always spurring us to do better. We are grateful, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. My goodness, I'm sure it's been a whole lesson, a whole sessions of learning, and we have a whole lot that we need to take back and think deep upon and begin to craft ways and methodology of implementation so that um, it does not end as a conversation only, but as something that we are taking back to the community to implement it so we could see it happen. Right. Thank you so much. Quite a number of persons are still following, and I'm sure they are saying thank you in the comment section now. Yeah, so we still have Toriatis right here in our presence, and she will be bringing some spiced words for us also. And I would want us to still sit tight because we are not done yet. Yes, Toriatis is one um, young lady who is doing amazingly well, especially with words as well. I met her in Zaria. For those of you that are in Nigeria, you would know that city while in her university days. And my goodness, I watched her and listened to her speak. And ever since then, it's been a relationship that I intentionally maintained up until this particular space. We are super excited to be having her join us. We are super excited to be having her join us, tonight, and she'll be speaking some words that will inspire us and set our hearts on fire. Right now, Tori artist, if you are ready, we are as well ready for you. The stage is yours.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to believe I can be heard clearly. Good evening once again, everyone. And to the speakers that have spoken ahead, Dr. Davis, Dr. Jim, and Dr. Ishaya. Sirs and Ma, I am highly honored and inspired to hear you speak and to be same platform as you. And for the spoken word artist, Miss Precious, I mean that was exceptional. I learned quite a whole lot, and I think I'm going to adopt the idea of pre-recording the videos. And my apologies, I've been on the move throughout this for the past 2 weeks, and it's been quite a lot.
So that's
So
beautiful. If you are even within a space where we could see your face, that would be beautiful. But if you are not, I think it's fine even behind the scene.
yes, I wish you could, but I'm out in the dark because of network issues. So the
Oh, beautiful.
lighting is very, very poor. Yes, my apologies once again. But hopefully my voice would be able to communicate as much of the information that my words carry. So I have two short pieces this evening, and one's for the program and one's for the convener, the host of the program. Happy birthday to you once again. So my little birthday gift comes in later.
Thank
So
you so
I'll go
much.
right ahead. Yes. So the title of my piece is The Ripple Effect. To live is to lead. To lead is to die. To die to oneself for something greater to be birthed. From the streets to the stages, to lead is in stages. To produce is to be buried in the soil of discipline and consistency, for everything has a ripple effect. The little stone's impact on the stream's smooth flow, the rushing current of the ocean, the flaps and beats of the fish's hand and feet in the water, each makes up a whole. So whether it's in the soil or in the ocean, there will be blocks and rocks. But perhaps the rocks are for a reason. Yes, you would rather have a smooth sail, but there is profound beauty in beating against the rocks. Existed, but the ones that you will yet create. It is not about the titles or tables, but the ideas you table, the focus you give. A vessel is unto honor not because of what it was made from, but what it avails itself to be used for. So rid yourself of the parasitic vines. Grow to be the ever abiding oak. Let your vines produce the best grapes of your field. Flourish in the droughts, shine in the gross darkness, speak through the silence, breathe through the suffocation, make the path through the wilderness, and be the oasis in the desert, because you are made for so much more. Thank you. That's my first piece. And my second piece to the convener. You are not just one man, you are nations combined. You are not just a blessing, you are an ocean of blessings with multiple channels. Your light shines through generations to come, and you soar above the storms. Nations and great men come to the brightness of your rising. You prosper and excel even where others struggle. Happy birthday, Joseph MJ. Continue to transform the world. Thank you all so much for listening. It has been an amazing night and it has been nothing short of inspiring and impactful. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Story Artist. Thank you for the second piece, especially. Thank you so much for being thoughtful. I truly appreciate, just like all of the other speakers, have rightly done so. Thank you so much for availing your time, all of you tonight, to be with us here. Oh, Coach Miwa is not currently in the house. Oh, no problem. Thank you so much, Dr. Naisha Davis, for always making our time to be with us whenever we call. We truly appreciate that gesture and we do not take it for granted. And all my precious, it's been a long time coming. Yes, thank you so much for staying faithful, for continuing to grow as well. I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much to Ria Taste. Thank you so much for all that you do, and your voice continues to be amplified as well. Dr. Jim, thank you so much for lending your voice to inspire us and to give us stability even when we encounter failures. It's very important, yes, especially for some of us that are in this part of the world. Like you must have rightly heard, Dr. Shaya, just try to paint a bit of pictures here. That's the society we found ourselves in, but we are making the difference. Yes, the difference. We're making the difference. And what more can I say? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Ishai Inwadrukwa, for being very much supportive, for always answering when we call, and for taking the lead um, to to represent a leader with so much integrity. We're learning a leader so much with character. Thank you so much that we do not take this at D22. We have John Peter, quite a number of our team members working at the background, ensuring that everything works out. Zainab, all of them are doing amazingly well. Thank you so much for being a part of this impact journey on my birthday. So I haven't even had time to reply messages and all because I just wanted to see that this works. We had the physical session yesterday in the city of Yola here in Adamawa State, Nigeria. And we thought to also reach out to other people who would be joining online virtually just like this. And you success. We're super excited. Exlora Lead Global is not stopping. We are just beginning. Like I said yesterday, sometimes at the stage for those of us that were not there, say we're not a step out of the cave yet. We are just incubating and we are not going to stop, not at all. This is one course we've decided to live for, and if for any reason we are willing to die for as well. Thank you so much for believing in us, for trusting in us, in the vision that we carry, and for also availing yourself and your time to be with us tonight. We so much appreciate that. We're super excited to have you. We are glad we did this with you this year. Thank you so much. At this point in time, I know you are quite busy people. Um, I would, if for any reason you would want to say something, a comment before we would leave, I think I would want to give that opportunity just before we close the session for tonight. Thank you so much. Dr. Naisha, you have a word?
I just wanted to say happy birthday to you again, Joseph. I am super proud of you. This has been phenomenal. I've been able to gain information from everyone who spoke on today. Words of affirmation, everything that has been spoken. Thank you for the opportunity again. I look towards forward to the next.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Sure, the next is coming. Thank you. Thank you. Precious Omar, you would want to say something?
Yeah, sure. I would absolutely follow in the line of Dr. Aisha, and I'd like to say that happy birthday to you, MJ. Happy birthday. I am it like I said earlier, it's just beautiful to see what your life is becoming and what you're making out of it. And I absolutely look forward to doing so much more, to continuing to show up like this. And today it was so educative. I literally was glued from the beginning to the end. There was so much value in this, and it's amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Precious Oman. So good to have you here tonight. Honestly, I'm super excited. You're still doing what you're doing, and you're even doing it better. All right, Tori artist, you would want to say something? You just finished speaking, but I don't know if you would want to, if you are close by and you would want to say something.
Hello,
Yes,
can
we're
you hear
here.
me? Okay. I just wanted to say that I am really honored to have met you and to be in this space with such creative minds. It's been an absolute honor. And to all the youths out there, especially Nigerian youth, please, I know how Nigeria can be, but just like Dr. Ishaya rightly said, that Nigeria still has a future, Nigeria still has a hope. I know it can feel very bleak, but I believe in Nigeria as well, and I want to be a part of the story, be change makers of the nation. So in our space, it begins with us. We have the power to transform this nation, to transform our lives, and to transform the world. So happy birthday to you once again, Joseph. And we are believing in you. By God's grace, who knows? The next conference can be in this big hall, as huge as TEDx or even greater. So we're rooting for you. Yes. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I believe in you too. I've seen you do it. I've seen you done it several times, and you're still doing it. And I can't wait for what the future holds. And yes, thank you so much, sir, Dr. Ishai Inodrukwa. I'm sure you have a word for us. We are willing to drink from it.
Well, just to add again, thank you very much, MJ, for what you are doing at Explora Lead Global and the entire team that is working together with you. I think I had opportunity to share with you a few weeks ago, you and your volunteers, that you have what it takes to bring change, transformation, beginning from where you are in Adama. And look, stay true to that, keep doing it, one place at a time, one person at a time, and this nation would be transformed. Don't allow the madness to overwhelm you and to make you render you impotent. We all can do this, so let's keep encouraging ourselves. Once again, thank you very much, and yeah, so glad to share and to learn from all the different speakers who spoke here tonight. And again, never tired of saying happy birthday. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, honestly. Um, I think this gratitude expression is better when it's private many times. But I'm super excited, honestly, to be associated with you and to be associated with all of us here on this platform. Thank you so much. I want to request something that we all put up our video so we could just take a snapshot. But if your environment is quite dark, like Toria taste, you could just stay. Um, you could just off your video. But if you are in position, please could you put up your camera on so that we can take a screenshot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we are done. Thank you so much once again for your time. Do enjoy the rest of your night if you are in Nigeria, but if you are in the US, like Dr. Naisha, it's still afternoon for you, I believe. Yes. So enjoy your afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much.